Here's my plan to stop the chemical, physical, and emotional mutilation of our youth. On day one, I will revoke Joe Biden's cruel policies on so-called gender-affirming care. Ridiculous. A process that includes giving kids puberty blockers, mutating their physical appearance, and ultimately performing surgery on minor children. Can you believe this? I will sign a new executive order instructing every federal agency to cease all programs that promote the concept of sex and gender transition at any age.
Ladies and gentlemen, what we're about to discuss today could very well be the most important speech of the decade, as Donald Trump has once again come forward with a plan that could change the future of America. This time, he's focused on saving our children from what he describes as the chemical, physical, and emotional mutilation happening to minors in the name of gender transition. I don't know about you, but I am all in on this. Let's dive right into it. On day one, President Trump is going to revoke every single one of Joe Biden's policies on gender-affirming care for minors. And let me tell you, folks, he doesn't hold back. Trump doesn't just think these policies are wrong. He calls them ridiculous. Puberty blockers, mutating physical appearances, surgery on children. Trump's right, it's time to stop this madness. There's no place for these procedures in America, and Trump is ready to end it once and for all. And you know what? I agree with him. The very idea that we are allowing children to make irreversible changes to their bodies before they're even old enough to fully understand the consequences is utterly insane. If you think about it, we don't let kids sign contracts, buy alcohol, or even drive a car until they're of age.
I will then ask Congress to permanently stop federal taxpayer dollars from being used to promote or pay for these procedures and pass a law prohibiting child sexual mutilation in all 50 states. It'll go very quickly. I will declare that any hospital or healthcare provider that participates in the chemical or physical mutilation of minor youth will no longer meet federal health and safety standards for Medicaid and Medicare and will be terminated from the program immediately. Furthermore, I will support the creation of a private right of action for victims to sue doctors who have unforgivably performed these procedures on minor children. The Department of Justice will investigate Big Pharma and the big hospital networks to determine whether they have deliberately covered up horrific long-term side effects of sex transitions in order to get rich at the expense of vulnerable patients, in this case, very vulnerable. We will also investigate whether Big Pharma or others have illegally marketed hormones and puberty blockers, which are in no way licensed or approved for this use. My Department of Education will inform states and school districts that if any teacher or school official suggests to a child that they could be trapped in the wrong body, they will be faced with severe consequences, including potential civil rights violations for sex discrimination and the elimination of federal funds.
So why on earth should they be allowed to make decisions that permanently alter their bodies and futures? Trump's plan is clear and decisive. He's not just talking about reversing these policies, he's talking about stopping federal funding for any hospital or healthcare provider that participates in these procedures on minors. He's going to stop taxpayer dollars from going toward what he calls child sexual mutilation. And honestly, what other word can you use to describe mutilating a child's body with surgeries or hormones they don't fully understand? But wait, it gets even better. Trump's not just sitting idly by. He's saying that any doctor or medical professional who performs these procedures on minors will face severe consequences, including being kicked off programs like Medicaid and Medicare. He's putting the health and safety of children above everything else, and that's exactly what we need in this country. And you know what? This is bold, this is brave leadership. We're talking about a president who is willing to stand up to the powerful medical and pharmaceutical industries and Big Pharma. Trump has made it clear he's not afraid to go after anyone who has profited off the suffering of vulnerable children. He's calling for investigations into whether these companies have deliberately covered up long-term side effects of sex transitions just to make a quick buck. How much do we love that? Let's be real, Big Pharma has been playing with fire for far too long, and it's about time someone took a stand. This isn't just about politics, it's about saving lives, protecting children, and making sure that doctors are held accountable for the damage they might be causing to innocent young people. And Trump is going all in. He's going to support the creation of a private right of action for victims, meaning parents can sue doctors who have irreversibly harmed their children. That's justice. This man is committed to making sure that vulnerable minors are not exploited by an agenda that pushes them into something they may later regret.
Funding. As part of our new credentialing body for teachers, we will promote positive education about the nuclear family, the roles of mothers and fathers, and celebrating rather than erasing the things that make men and women different and unique. I will ask Congress to pass a bill establishing that the only genders recognized by the United States government are male and female, and they are assigned at birth. The bill will also make clear that Title IX prohibits men from participating in women's sports, and we will protect the rights of parents from being forced to allow their minor child to assume a gender which is new and an identity without the parent's consent. The identity will not be new, and it will not be without parental consent. No serious country should be telling its children that they were born with the wrong gender, a concept that was never heard of in all of human history. Nobody's ever heard of this, what's happening today. It was all when the radical left invented it just a few years ago. Under my leadership, this madness will end. Thank you very much.
Though, he's also tackling education. No more teachers telling kids that they might be trapped in the wrong body. If any teacher or school official dares to suggest this to children, boom, severe consequences. Trump's making it clear parents, not teachers, should have control over what their kids are learning, and when it comes to gender identity, parents should have the final say. This is about protecting our children from a radical agenda that has no place in the classroom. Trump gets it. Now, let's talk about the nuclear family. Trump is committed to ensuring that schools and educators teach kids to celebrate the family mothers and fathers and the beautiful differences between men and women. Can you believe we're even in a time when we need to remind people about how important the nuclear family is? But Trump is putting it front and center because, let's face it, this country needs a return to traditional values. But here's the kicker: Trump wants to pass a law that will officially recognize only two genders in the eyes of the United States government, male and female, assigned at birth. And let's be honest, isn't it about time we started acknowledging reality? There's no such thing as a gender-neutral or fluid identity in the eyes of the federal government. It's time we stop letting the radical left push this nonsense. This is why Trump is leading the charge. He's not afraid to do what's right, even when it means challenging the cultural elites and the woke agenda. Trump's courage and commitment to American values are exactly what we need in a leader right now. We need someone who's willing to fight for our children's futures, someone who understands that there's a clear right and wrong when it comes to gender identity and protecting the innocence of youth. And let's talk about public opinion. Many Americans are 100% behind Trump on this issue. There's a growing movement across the country that says enough is enough. More and more parents are standing up and demanding that they have control over their children's education and health care. Trump is speaking for millions of concerned Americans who want a government that protects their children and upholds traditional family values. And let's be honest, that's a winning message. So let's ask ourselves, is Trump the savior of America? Absolutely. He's a man who's fighting to protect the future of our children, to ensure that we return to a society that values family, truth, and responsibility. The radical left might call him extreme, but we know better. Trump is standing up for what's right, and the American people are ready for this change. So, what do you think? Do you agree that Trump's plan is exactly what America needs, or do you think this is just another example of his overreach? Let us know in the comments below. If you're ready to take a stand for traditional values and the future of America, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. This is just the beginning. Stay tuned, because the fight for America's future is just heating up. Thanks for watching.